Oh, I had a dream. I woke from the dream and remembered lovely relationships I've had with girlfriends and wives, and being in love, and how when you actually live with your beloved, you have fullness of intimate relationships with each other, of course. But because such needs are met by each other, well, most of the time it's not spent making love, is it? It's spent living and cooking and having entertainment and going to work because you need to and coming back again. The joy of coming home and having a home and putting it all together and adjusting it and altering it and enjoying family, fullness of life. Perhaps you haven't really had this since childhood. But you've entered into such as you found to be available. You keep your flat, and your car perhaps, or your bicycle, and you go to work and enjoy the fruits of work, the money that allows you the accommodation you live in and the food you eat and the social life that you do have. So we are always, whilst alive, experiencing, being alive, living. We, so to speak, make the best of the circumstances we find available to us. We make mistakes at times as to what we pursue and adjust our sights accordingly, change our values accordingly, or at least they change automatically in response to the experiences that we have. If we attempt some objectivity in comparing our lives with others, well, superficially, some seem a lot better and some seem a lot worse as regards whether we would want such or not. And our imagination drives us to, obviously, in the direction of that which we think would be better, to bring such about if it's possible and move towards in that direction. To the extent that we achieve such, we feel some sense of achievement, and to the extent that we don't, we feel some discouragement and perhaps a greater desire to overcome difficulties and achieve the supposed benefits that we surmise could or should or we'd like to be there. And such is our experience of living. Our situation then is to consider on and off, from time to time, so to speak, how we can make this life better. Well, basically it's applying what we understand to be reasonable expectations, reasonable possible hopes, conceivable, yes, but conceivably possible, more importantly, and adjust our sights, our goals, our focus accordingly. Such is the spiritual life. If you're thinking in very non-religious terms, such is our mental life, deliberations, our thought life, our concerns, our preoccupation of thought, when opportunity permits the opportunity of thinking, which might be at, like now, 4:44 in the morning, because you happen to be awake and are recording. And the way we approach such survey with purpose greatly influences or determines really what we make of our situation in life, both as it is and as we see it. Whether those two are synonymous, I think more of a spectrum of things is like a menu in a sense. We could do this, we could do that. That doesn't look very possible, and I don't think I fancy the following. So I'll move towards what can I do about. And of course your hope may be extensive, as in youth, ideally we suppose, or may be very narrow and minimal, as is perhaps what we assume in old age. But my varied experience of life has led me to increasingly be more optimistic and hopeful compared to my youth. My youth was secular and depressed in many ways. You could say in part because my mum and dad were always at war, and I feared Dad a bit, well, quite a bit, although not when we were just together, but in the relationship with Mum it seemed to be dangerous. And Mum was loving, so I was very attached to Mum. But Mum was very depressed much of the time, very loving but got very depressed, and her unhappiness bothered me greatly. You could say in a selfish way, because it endangered my peace of mind and welfare. Well, it didn't, of course, because she always seemed to be putting me first, loving and caring. And you could say, in a very selfish way, I loved her because of it. And I think that selfishness is a good thing too. What's the difference between selfish love because you're of such benefit to me, and me loving you in gratitude for your kindness and goodness to me? I'm not sure if there's the width of a blade of grass between the two. In fact, I think the two are identical, just a different slant. I don't hold with the sin of self. I hold with the miracle of God that He's made ourselves and our individuality and blessed us with a priority of concern for our own life and well-being, else we would not be available to be loving and kind to others. What do you think? I have ascended, as I see it, to an extremely trusting relationship with a supposed God who is all-powerful and all-loving. More to the point, our Dad, who loves and cares for us all. And armed with this imagination, I find hope and joy and peace and love, compassion, fullness of life, creativity, life abundant, and I surmise the possibility of, the probability even of, life eternal. In a family of God, yes, because family, ideal family, is my ideal. You could say it's the consequence of childhood or a reaction to the way I saw childhood. So I know why I have it, and I'm glad I have it, because it brings joy and hope and blessedness. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.